What is up, friends? Big day today for crypto. Things are roaring, and that is super exciting. And guess what, guys? We got Bobby Jonas in the chat. We got Bobby Jonas is back talking some XDC. What's going on, brother? We got Cloudy Vibes in the chat. We got a scammer on Kick. One of those ones. Got Brian Ultragi in the chat. What's going on? Hope lots of good stuff in there and plenty of stuff to talk about. But the big news is, man, we are crushing it on the charts today. So we're going to look at all that today. I got some good news. I don't know if we're going to have a super long stream, but we definitely got some stuff to talk about. Big major crypto news for 401ks. That is a big deal. So happy to see that. What's up? Hoping y'all having a happy Friday. I got a doggy at my feet, keeping my feet warm while we live stream today. Make sure I can get my feet in there, doggy. All right. What's going on? Let's read some chats because we got some people coming in now. Kind of a slow start. Some really cool things to talk about. So we got a lot of good stuff. Cloudy Vibe says, up fan, first to join. That is right. I'll go to the moon, he says. Hey, by the way, we always got a big contest going on in the chat. So you can get I don't have any awards today, but you know what? I'll send 10 algo to whoever at the very end of the stream, whoever gets in the top chat, I will send 10 algo to. So all you gotta do, you'll have to drop your you will also have to drop your non-fungible domain or wallet address, or you can reach out to me somewhere and I will get it to you. We'll do that at the end of the show, so make sure you get it up there and leave your non-fungible domain or your .algo address or your regular wallet address. I recommend the .algo address. I think it makes it easier to manage. We'll send 10 algo to whoever wins. I know we've had some people in the chat saying they would want to fund a contest. Bobby Jonas says, hey, Frugal, I'm back. XDC will kill Ethereum. XDC is the real Ethereum killer. Well, not a lot of killing going on with Ethereum right now. Cracking 4,000 today, which is really exciting. And it's pulled back a little bit. We'll take a look at the charts in a minute. Brian Otruggi is mentioning something that I'm going to talk about later. Would like to hear why Algo is not listed in Robinhood. This would improve my cash flow. Of course, maybe that's the point. Speculation, holding on platform versus utility. Yeah, we'll dive into that. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Also, Brian's saying, "Cloudy Vibes." I'll let you in on the XDC thing in just a second. Brian says, "I hope Stacy isn't shopping for real estate while she is in Wyoming." Well, that's interesting because the roadmap launched last week. We live streamed that, so we didn't do like a regular live stream because we did the live stream of the roadmap announcement, which was pretty exciting. A lot of cool stuff there. Cloudy Vibes, XDC. Okay, so the big ongoing joke, Bobby Jonas has been spamming my chat and it's okay, mods, don't, keep him, he's cool. I do have mods that monitor the chat, but Bobby is my favorite troll. He always comes in and he's actually not being negative on Algorand. Usually he says XDC is better than Algorand or something like that. We love him. We love him. It's like our ongoing joke. But Bobby's been gone for a little while. I don't know what happened, Bobby. Where you been, brother? Your XDC's actually been doing pretty well. We'll do a little dive in XDC just for you, Bobby. Good to see you here. And yeah, we think Algorand's better, but that's fine. We can all disagree. I think that's fun. So it's all in good fun. And so Bobby's more than welcome here. But we are gonna make fun a little bit. So yeah, good to see everyone in chat. People pouring in from X and from YouTube. It took a little slow going this morning. Usually the chat, usually things build up a little faster. Got a little audience on Kick as well. And guys, we'd love to have a comment. I never get comments on Kick, so yeah, if you're watching on Kick, I do keep track of that chat as well. So definitely weigh in. I'd just love to start getting some comments on there. And we're pretty nice to our chatters, unless you're mean, but most people aren't mean, so all good. But I got a little audience going on Kick. It's nice to see that. And you can donate a gift. You can gift the sub or sub yourself. You'll get on the top of the leaderboard right now. So be sure to do that. Brian says one of the original ISO tokens with quotes, and I'm glad you put that in quotes. That's been one of my that has been one of my that's like my white whale for anyone who's familiar with Moby Dick. The whole ISO 20022 thing, it like, I'll dive into that because I'm going to talk a little bit about my appearance on Zach Humphrey's X Space a while back. That was pretty big. He actually invited me personally, which was really nice of him, and I popped on for a little while as long as I could. I usually keep pretty busy, so I can't spend all that they had that going. I check back in every once in a while. That thing was going like all day. I don't know how people do it. It does give you more followers, though, I'll tell you that. Yeah, so lots of exciting stuff to talk about. We're going to get into that, and also, I could have got tickets. I could have got some comp tickets to free or to Rare Evo, but I just got too much going on in August, and so I will be going to. I am planning to go to ETH Denver, and I might do like, I don't know. I've been debating whether I kind of want to do like maybe a little fundraiser thing to help pay for the trip. But the tickets are free, and I may or may not have someone to stay with, depending on that's a little complicated. But yeah, we might be doing that. So definitely do some ETH Denver. Rare Evo would have been fun. Just the opportunity came up too late, and I had other stuff going on. And like I said, August is pretty busy. So, well, enough of my chatter. Let's look at the charts. Let's see how we want to do this. Yeah, I think that's fine. So Ethereum, obviously the big news, up almost 10% on the week. And we actually touched above 4,000 to pull back a little bit to 39.62. But that's very good for ETH, where I think anyone who's an ETH holder is pretty happy to see it going up finally. Some people talking about 4,000 being the kind of magic line of demarcation, where it just, once it gets to 4,000, bad things happen. I don't know. We'll see. What is the all-time high for ETH? I should really know that. Okay, what are we looking at? Oh, this is all-time. Yeah. So all-time high is, around 46. It looks like 47. Do you remember over 5K ETH? I thought I remember like maybe briefly touching it. It's hard to tell on these zoomed out charts, but I think it has hit. We can look it up. What does Google say? Oh no, 48.78. So, I mean, think about how high it's settled for a new low for the market. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Because it only got down to, would it get to like 1,500 at one point? So that's pretty bullish to me. I think that looks really great. So I think Ethereum's got a long ways towards any coin killing it, really. Almost 2.5 times the market cap of XRP, which is also doing decent, not as good as ETH. Is ETH the leader right now? No, not by a long shot. On the weekly chart, Mantle, Pendle, Memecore, Polygon, actually, boy, Polygon's one of my worst bear market buys. I'm actually down on Poly Market. There's a few I'm down on. Even Pump Fund Pump Fund had that big crash. Now it's popping back up a little bit. Aerodrome Finance, Chainlink having a really nice, almost $20 now, having a really nice weekly turnaround, and 10% on the 24-hour too, which is pretty good. We're looking at the weekly charts for anyone paying attention. Stellar doing good. Optimism, Ondo Finance, big fan of Ondo. Even Gala, having a decent week, although it's been, this is one of the ones that's way down, well below 2 cents, which is kind of pathetic for Gala. Yeah, my Cosmo's turning around a little bit too. How about the daily? Still Pendo, still Aerodrome Finance, Little Dow, Chainlink. Like I said, having a really good week. Stellar Optimism, XRP even up there. Had a new high of what was it, 350 some. So that'll be nice. It'll be nice to see it get over that. I think we can do it over the weekend. I'd say keep an eye on the charts on Monday. I'm just not seeing. I think Algorand kind of pumped off a little bit early. Let's go back to market cap. Well, I want to highlight Hedera, which is starting to fall back a little bit, but that's sitting over almost 26 cents. So I am up about a little more than 5x. Cloudy Vice says, let's hope Trump comes out and announces the Ukraine war is over, let the markets go bananas. That would be a huge catalyst. One interesting thing is that, you know, Trump has launched these volleys of tariffs, and at first they crashed the market. Now the market seems to just not care that much because we just had more tariff announcements, which, you know, in and of themselves, they're kind of weird. He's imposing new tariffs on countries that have already made deals with the U.S. That seems weird. I don't know why he's doing that. And I don't want to make this political because I don't really have allegiance to either side. Libertarian leaning, I guess you would say, which actually puts me at odds. A lot of people think that's just an extreme Republican, but honestly, no, it puts me at odds with Republicans too sometimes. You know, DeSantis like banning lab growing meats, I thought was crazy. Just let the market decide, right? That's not market principles. But anyway, Algorand under 26. Algorand and HBAR are really closely matched right now in price, which is interesting because Hedera has like 5 times the supply of Algorand, not necessarily released, but total supply. And it's just a little bit more, like 25.91 and 25.78. So just a little bit ahead for Algorand. That's very interesting. And we'll get into ASAs. There's some really interesting stuff going on there. I want to give a little shout out. I don't know if he's still here. Uh-oh, did XDC lose the top 100? Bobby? Oh, no, here it is. 62. Okay, fair enough. Trump wants cheaper price. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think if you negotiate with somebody and you agree to it, you should probably stick to it. Otherwise, your word starts not having value. I think this is a big mistake people make about business. People think it's all about being cutthroat and screwing people over, but I hear so many stories where people who don't do that and who build a good reputation win in the end. I was just listening to a podcast with the guy who started MTV, and he was talking about a guy he worked with that like would just constantly do favors for people, never asked anything in return. And whenever he needed something, people jumped out of the woodwork to help them. And I'll tell you, in my other business, most of the clients I have, I mostly do, it's a subscription service, but I also have some advertisers. They're all people I built relationships with over many years. So despite what people think, I think you win in business in the long term by actually being decent. So, you know, it's up a little bit on the month here. It's actually been falling since July, this XDC here. But still number 61 in market cap, and XDC was like way down. XDC was in, you know, somewhere in the hundreds when Bobby first started chatting. So, hey, shout out, man. He got into the top 100. That's really good. I don't know a ton about XDC. I used to make fun of it a lot just because that was the thing Bobby and I had going on. Or a little friend in the comments. But anyway, that's XDC. I want to head over to Vestige because I think there's some really interesting stuff going on in Algorand. And make sure I get the right one here. Yeah, first off, like Tiny has just been really disappointing to me. However, look at Alpha Arcade. And we can make this a little bigger. Hold on. I want to make this a little bigger so you guys can see this. But Alpha Arcade, on the week, it is up 90, almost just under 92%. That is wild. So one alpha is worth like 1.4 cents. So you guys know I did that, and there's other ones to talk about, and we will be talking about them. There's a lot of good ones to talk about. But alpha, I started my alpha experiment, and I put in $100, and you know that's kind of my standard test subject, I guess. My test amount is usually about 100 to do my little experiments. And I like it because it's a round number, and it helps me measure percentages easy without having to do a lot of math, which minimizes the potential for error. Ooh, look, it's almost 92 now. Exactly. But the whole thing with Alpha Arcade is a prediction market, and I should dig up that tweet. In fact, I probably will dig up that tweet in a second. Just give me a bit. But Alpha pays is a prediction market, and by holding the Alpha token, you're basically getting a share of their profits. Or the revenue, I should say. It's like a little bit of a rev share. I'll accept your cookies. And it's not a lot right now. It's like, I figured it was about 1.6% APY. So it's really not a lot of money. But you get it paid in USDC. So you don't have the token appreciation. And also it doesn't put sell pressure on the token, which I think is one of the reasons it's done so well. By the way, I heard someone mention boot pattern on a tweet that I didn't know, and I'm like, cool, it's catching on. Let's go weekly, because I want to show you guys. This is really atypical. Even this part right here, forget the big green candle up, which we all are super happy about. Just this part right here, this is unheard of for an ASA on Algorand. For a coin on Algorand, this is unheard of. For the longest time, it was almost a stable coin. And they did this through, well, we should point this out. Let me go find this. It might take me a second. I want to dig this up because I think this is a big deal. It might take me a second. I got to dig through a lot of stuff. Wait, hold on. This might be easier. Nope. Help if I spell it right. Was it this one? No. I made a lot of alpha posts, apparently. Might be this one. Damn. I'm having a really hard time finding this one. Sorry if this is kind of boring. Blah, 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 blah. Man. Maybe it was on someone else's. I don't know. I can't find it. I had Jerry True chiming in to kind of talk about some of the stuff they did, but basically like token burns, being really careful about supply management. The tokenomics are really good. And then also the fact that they don't have that sell pressure makes a big difference. Man, that really bumps me out that I couldn't find that though. Anyway, great stuff for alpha. But not the only one. If you look up here on the top gainers, you know, you got Gona, which is part of that lizard NFT series. Monko doing like 13.4%. Like I said, Alpha continuing to climb. So a lot of stuff is actually turning around. Even Tiny, 3.7% in the last 24 hours. That's nice to see. It's still got a long ways to catch up though, because actually one of the worst performers on, especially on the 7-day on the top 100. Anybody else really? Orange. Aura is doing really well right now. So anyway, I was gonna say my $100 of Alpha is worth like almost $300 now. Someone said, yeah, you should put 1,000. I'm like, well, you're probably right. Yeah, I wish I could find that tweet. Even Monko, like I said, 13.4% in the last day. So my little Monko bag is doing quite well. I have a little bit of Orange too. Orange has had 48% on the week. That's crazy. I wonder what that looks like, because I think it's been going down a lot. I mean, just flat if you go weekly. There's the 4 hour. How about the 1 day? It's been up from its lows, so I guess that's nice to see. Aura, like they're really nice to me, so I feel bad saying it, but sometimes it seems like a good way to like turn Algorand into less Algorand, because you put in Algo and you get less value in Aura as a return. So we'll see about that. I wonder if I want to check something else once. We've noticed a lot of XYZ addresses lately. Wait, is that docs? I don't want stupid documentation. So I think this is the Hedera equivalent of Vestige. So they give you a change, but like, is this 24 hours? Is it 7 days? Is it 1 hour? I don't know. That's one thing I would really like out of this. Well, let's see who's doing well. Something called Gib. I think I mentioned that earlier. 3% head starter doing pretty well. Otherwise, and I don't know if this, like I said, I don't know. They just say change, but they don't say, like sauce is down. Let me see. What if I go to it? So I think that's the daily. Yeah. Okay, so these are daily values. We just confirmed. Not a lot having a good day on Hedera, except for Pack. Pack is up a little bit. This is the coin behind Hashpack. Looks down on the week. I wish I'd give a percentage. Seems like you can get the daily percentage, but not the weekly. HBAR Suite doing pretty well too. Kind of surprised. Oh, Karate is in here. Yeah, Karate's down quite a bit. I think that's very interesting, because we saw a lot of bullish momentum on ASAs for Algorand, but on Hedera coins, not quite the same. A lot of them are down. That's interesting. All right. Well, how's everyone in the chat doing? What's going on? What are you bullish about right now? What are you bearish about? Let me know in the chat. Remember, if someone leaves, if you're a top commenter and you leave your address with me, you can do your .algo address, or you can do your regular wallet address. I will send you 10 algo if you are a top commenter. Whoever the top commenter is who also does that. Meanwhile, by the way, a couple of housekeeping items. We are going to be doing a live stream again tonight, because we are going to be live streaming the Fractal Monsters TCG tournament, and I'll be playing in it until I get eliminated, which will probably happen pretty fast. and then Eve looks good. Yeah, Eve is looking really good, Giovanni. And welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. So we were going to play that Fractal Monsters game. I'm probably going to get eliminated like right away, and then I will just end up commenting on the rest of the match. Now, if you haven't seen the Fractal Monsters, in fact, let me go to it here. So Fractal Monsters is a game they started making kind of like a Tamagotchi / Pokemon sort of a game. It was unique, you know. It had a lot of some vibes and some elements from both of those games I mentioned, but it's its own game, and that's pretty cool. Let's see the video here, and you got to keep the sound off because I might not monetize the stream that I do. Yeah, so you can see it looks just like Hearthstone, except for, you know, more of a Fractal Monsters style. It's pretty fun. I haven't really played it enough to have a good strategy yet. I have to build some. I have to play around with it a little bit today before the tournament. But this is what the game looks like, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. They have tournaments. They're live on Steam, as well as you can get it on just about every... In fact, here, I'll show you. Oh, that's the Steam version. Yeah, so you can get it on Steam, Google Play. You can get it on iOS and macOS. You have to get the Test Flight app. Fractal TCG, you can go to their website. So basically you can play it on your PC, your Mac, or either one of your smartphone devices that you have, or you can just play it on Steam anywhere, I think. Or was it only PC on Steam? Let me see. I should probably know that. It says cross-platform. It says that somewhere, doesn't it? So you got to request access. You can, by the way, if you already are playing this game, you can tap in and join the tournament. So that's fun. But like I said, I think it's fun. It's if you like these kind of games and you want to do it on an Algorand platform, you can do it. You know, if I was going to give it a criticism, I'd say, well, it's pretty similar to other types of these games. You know, it's basically that kind of game with a Fractal Monsters theme. It is fun though. I haven't, you know, I can't say one thing I really like too is they give you the option to choose the color of the pack. So if you're like building fire deck, you're focusing on the fire deck, you can buy fire packs, which is kind of cool. Anyway, so that'll be tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I think that makes it 9 p.m. in Eastern. In California, it's probably like 6. So, but 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can adjust from there. Let's see. Cloudy Vibe says I'm always bullish on Algorand. Accord me too. Giovanni, rejection at 4K, but let's see next week if it breaks it. I think it will. I think we're at that stage where it's going to now. Vote how Chainlink is performing. Yeah, I'm liking that. And I definitely got a bag of Chainlink, so I like the idea of it. I like that it's focusing on the interoperability. I think that's really cool. This from my worker. Yeah, I thought that's probably what you meant. Yeah, love how Chainlink is performing. Green Blue Algo says that's a good idea. That's a good name actually. Instead of LG, Algo. Yeah. Feel like Tiny is going to suffer until they institute a burn mechanism. Probably holding off on folks until folks is known. Yeah, I think the lack of burn mechanism is an issue because it's just been going down, and it did stay steady for a while. It stayed steady for it stayed steady for a while. It was sitting between 2.5 and 5 cents. Now it's like almost like around 1 cent. So very frustrating because I was earning rewards in it. I'm probably going to be switching over to Ready Pools, which we have some news in. So we're going to do we'll do a little Algorand segment. And meanwhile, I should say we are sponsored by Non-Fungible Domains, and they got something really exciting cooking up that we will announce probably within a month, I would imagine. It might be a little bit more. And Transaction Labs just made a major acquisition, and they got something new coming down the pike. So we will be talking about that very soon. But in the meantime, you can get that DAO algo address, which makes doing everything in Algorand so much easier. I just love what these guys do. I've got my own. It allows people, they can send you stuff and it stays in your vault. You don't have to accept it. Para kind of started that now too, where they have their asset inbox, but this is really great. So we're big fans of non-fungible domains, and it's, there was another .algo maker, and they disappeared because I think everyone knew that non-fungible domains was the real deal. They have integration just about everywhere, and I love mine. I would never turn it in. So definitely a big fan of them. And we're also brought to you by Marcus Aurelius. These guys are doing really cool stuff. They're putting out tons of videos. The Marcus coin is doing actually pretty well. I've not been unhappy with, I'm up on my Marcus bag, but I just love the idea of making this little kitty cat cartoon and combining these little cartoon kitties with Stoic wisdom. So Marcus Aurelius, that's a play on Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher and Roman emperor, along with Senecat and Epictetus. I love the creativeness, and these guys work hard. They're always doing stuff. You should watch their YouTube channel because they have some really cool videos they're putting out. So definitely check them out. I'm a big fan, and they're big supporters of the channel. So we appreciate both of those sponsors. But let me set up. I think we're going to do the Algorand. I think it might be a short segment. It might be a short live stream today compared to usual. Let's see here. Maybe I'll start with this one. So just a recap of how I do my segments is I kind of, it's funny that happens every time. Every time I pull up Twitter when I have my OBS running, it always says that, it always shows it as if I am not following the Algorand Foundation, which is untrue. I am following them. It's so weird. Anyway, whenever I do one of these segments, then I usually don't answer chat unless it's absolutely relevant to the segment, and anything that's not relevant to the segment at hand, I will address afterwards. And the reason I do that is so I can clip these for YouTube, which reach a different audience. A lot of times those clips will get way more views than the original live stream. It's very interesting. So we're going to go through that. We're going to do our algo segment first. And so Giovanni says algo will retest around 24.6 cents. And then when the 25 day moving average crosses the 200-day, like one of those crosses, right? Right, 26 and 27. Well, let's hope so. So anyway, like I said, I will go through our algo segment and we'll talk about some other stuff, but let's start with this. Let me think about how I want to set this up. Guys, lots of stuff to talk about with Algorand. Algorand just launched its roadmap a week ago, and the news hasn't stopped there. There's plenty of stuff to talk about. So let's look at this, starting with Algorand tokenomics, which I think are looking really well, but I have some thoughts on that. And this is from Alex or France.algo. 87% of the max cap supply of Algorand is now in circulation. Only 2.6 annual supply inflation until 2030, as calculated by Eldar. Eldar also a fan of, or a friend of the channel for sure. If you're looking for a crypto with great tokenomics, scarcity, and a capped max supply, no tokens printed out of thin air, do your own research on Algorand. And here we have a nice little infographic showing all of that stuff. True finite supply is nearly as rare as Bitcoin. No upcoming token unlocks. Accelerated vesting program for early backers. And this stuff is all good. This is all good stuff, okay? Here's what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, case in point, look at the price action of Algorand versus SWI. Algorand has been out much longer. Most of the supply is out, 87%. Whereas if you look at SWI, it's in the early stages, has the same total supply, by the way, $10 billion. And by the way, this is not an endorsement of SWI. Actually, I've really soured on SWI. In fact, I really got to change my banner because we'll get into that. Same supply, far less of the coin is out, and the price is roaring. So why? Because supply is only half of the equation. The other half is demand. So if you don't have the demand there, the supply doesn't matter. So if I have 100, let's say, chocolate chip cookies, and I have 20 oatmeal raisin cookies, I can probably still charge more for the chocolate chip cookies because everyone wants. Now, I actually personally like oatmeal raisin, but the vast majority of people are going to pick chocolate chip cookies over oatmeal raisin cookies. So even though my supply is more limited, the demand is so much for chocolate chip cookies that it doesn't matter. And I think that's what we're seeing on Algorand or cryptocurrency in general. Like, I don't think there's a shortage of just about any cryptocurrency. So I think most of the price action is coming from the demand side, which is coming from stuff like marketing, from people just like getting excited about the coin, hearing about it. That's a big issue right now. Right now, it's just about hearing. Have people heard of the coin or not? So while I appreciate this, I think people over-index on this. They think this is way more important than it is. I don't think it's not important. I just think it's people greatly over-index on this when they really should just pay attention to demand, because I think the demand side of the curve has not outpaced anybody's supply. Everybody has it. So that's what I'm going to put out there. Cloudy Vibes clapping. Giovanni, you are correct. Cloudy Vibes oatmeal cookies are better. Actually, I like oatmeal cookies. I like both of them. I try not to eat too any of them because, I gotta like try to keep in shape. But I actually like oatmeal raisin cookies. I think they taste great. Nick Golden asking, do you like algo over sweet or say? Actually, I do. What depends what you mean. Like price wise, I don't own Sane, but I own Sui and I own Algorand. So I'm making bets on both. I think what I don't like that I feel like Sui is very centralized. You need like millions of dollars to run a node because you need millions of the token. And also, like, apparently they can just shut you down at any point in time if they don't like your transaction. I just don't think that's decentralized. A bunch of rich people owning a handful of nodes to me isn't very decentralized, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next bit of news because we got more Algorand news to talk about. But that's just something I wanted to put out there. This one's good. Algorand now leading in tokenized stocks. Algorand hosts over 62% of all tokenized stocks on chain. Now, I had a little argument with the guy who founded Outside, and it ended amicably, but also mostly because we just kind of agreed to disagree. But I posted that Algorand had the first tokenized stock that was initiated by the company. I was very specific about that because people have been creating their own tokenized stocks for a really long time. I used them on Cake DeFi back in the day, but this is very different. And so he argued, well, he's showing me all these other tokenized stocks, and I said, well, I was really specific. It's the first stock that a Fortune 5 or a S&P or a publicly traded company had tokenized, and it was on Algorand. But the ones that the company did it, not someone else made a derivative stock. Anyway, so 62%, and followed by Solana, which is crazy because Solana has more users, and they're behind on that. So is XRPL, Gnosis, Ethereum, teeny tiny, Arbitrum, Avalanche, can't even see it. That's actually Polygon down there, believe it or not. Itty bitty, but Algorand, the biggest one. So I think that's a big deal for sure. Let's go back. I have more Algorand news for you. Oh, so this is a big one. Ex-governor. There was a big controversy about ready pooling, because ready pooling were not able to join governance, but a lot of people are using it. And, you know, Transaction Labs created ready pooling, and they did it in a pretty short amount of time. And I think they did a pretty good job with it. Well, now it's been addressed. XGov voter enrollment update for ready pooling managers. Yeah, by the way, sometimes people say, well, I thought governance went away. Well, it didn't go away. It's just not monetized because they switched that monetization over to nodes instead. Ex-governor enrollment date for ready pooling managers. Our engineering team will add manager enrollment directly to the ready pooling website. That way, current managers can easily enroll in the pool management dashboard. New pool creators will have the option to enroll as they create their pools, and ready users will be able to see whether or not the pool they are joining or have joined is enrolled to vote on their behalf. Now, it's interesting because now that you're doing this, you will have to give up your rights to vote. Your ready pool manager will vote for you, is what it sounds like. That's how it worked on liquid staking, I believe. Actually, I don't remember exactly how it worked on there. But I'm not really a big fan of governance anyway. Most of the votes on there I just haven't cared about. I also don't like, I've said this before numerous times, but I'll just briefly recap again. I don't like that they show the vote totals before the vote is over, because that influences the rest of the vote. I told Adri at the foundation that directly when she came on the stream. I don't know if it really resonated. I think it's just a bad practice, because it would be better for people to vote more purely. I know they said that, yeah, you could probably look it up on chain, and being on chain is supposed to be about transparency, but we can do that. People can do that after the fact. I just don't think it's good to put it out there, because then if people see something is losing 90% to 10%, they might just vote for the winning side, even though they were going to vote the other way. That's just my opinion, but overall, this is good news. Happy to see it, and let's see what else they got. Yeah, so we got this new, there's a couple of new commercials. I wanted to show this one. I actually haven't watched it, so I want to watch it with you guys. Let's see what the new commercial sounds like.
Okay, just sent it. Did you get it? Are you sure you sent it? Because I didn't get it. Yeah, okay, it failed, so I will send it again. Can you check if it went through? Ah, okay, it didn't go through. This just isn't working.
Not bad, not bad. Is that like one guy doing both sides? It kind of looked like that. I don't think it's fun. I think it's kind of funny anyway. Maybe they're overdoing this though. Like that was kind of the theme they did last year, which I thought was really funny, but yeah, very cool. Anyway, I also wanted to show off, I just thought this was cool. I've been trying to get Minner on the channel. Is it Minner? Minner? I don't know. He creates the shitty kitties, also the shitty cities, and I just think these are so cool. And look at, now it's in a snow globe. Well, actually, no, it's, oh, this is like a dome in the middle of a desert. Okay. Either way, super cool. I just love this. And the shitty kitties are pretty funny too. His profile's obviously that. He also made a trading card game tracker app, so you can like keep track of all your, if you play like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon. I guess there's a One Piece game now. I'm like trying hard not to dive into that, because I actually think I really like One Piece and I'd probably spend way too much on it. And so he has one of those apps, and it's only like $40 a year, so I should really sign up. In fact, I haven't signed up yet. But and he's got a new social media app he's working on too. So I love that this guy just builds like crazy, and I kind of want to buy one of these. I just saw this and I thought it'd be fun to share with you guys, because I thought that was really neat. Let's see, that's Chainlink for later. Oh, this one. Oh, no, this one. Let's talk about this one. So this is from Dom. Dom is a friend of the channel. You can see very wisely follows me. He's a pretty big account too. 118,000 followers. So that's really neat, huh? Anyway, he says, very excited to announce our latest Easy app listing, Algorand. Easy A now powers over 80% of the world's top blockchain, which is, here's the cool part. You can learn how to use Algorand. You can onboard directly into ecosystem and launch dApps on Algorand, all within the Easy apps. I really got to check this out more. So this guy, I mean, this guy's like the real deal. You know, worked on Wall Street, Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, Wharton grad. You know, I went to a satellite school of University of Wisconsin, so I'm not in the same league in that sense, but I like to think I got a few things right. Yeah, a good guy, you know, not the kind of, these guys are super, super awesome. Him and his brother, both very successful people and doing awesome stuff. So I really, really appreciate that. Appreciate that they added Algorand. I'm very excited about that. I would love to, hopefully someday I can get some kind of partnership with them because I think it's really cool what they're doing here. I think that's going to cap our Algorand segment for today. Let's see. We have some, got a little battle going on between XDC and Algorand in the chat. I love it. You guys are funny. Yeah. Bobby Jonas battling with our Algorand fam in the chat. You know, the thing about Bobby, I never hear an XDC use case. I just hear, yay, it's going to the moon. So that's really funny. Yeah, just a reminder, guys, we are on YouTube and we are on X and we are on Kick. And so if you're on any of those platforms, please comment, hit the like button if that's a thing, follow, do the following. Giovanni's saying I put HBAR in the mix. So I'm a big HBAR fan. I don't know if do I have HBAR news today? I think I do. Actually, I don't think I do. We definitely talked about the price and some of the coins on HBAR. We're going to start doing that more with the Salt app. So glad that exists. I hope they improve it a little bit. Hope they improve those visuals a little bit because it'll get people going to the app more because they want to check the prices. I just love that little battle going on. Love the little chat battle going on between XDC and Algorand in the chat. So if you love Algorand, if you love XDC, you love HBAR, hit that like button. Let's see where we're at. I'm gonna take a little break before. Oh, we might have some XRP. If I have time, I might react to that video. Let's see. I just want to look at the chat. We got only 7 likes on the video. So let's all hit, if you're watching right now, hit that like button. Let's get this to more people because that's huge. Top fans right now, Cloudy Vibes leading the way. Actually, it's a 3-way tie between Cloudy Vibes and Green Blue Algo and Giovanni. You're all in the top 3 with 75 experience points. Bobby Jonas and XDC trailing at only 50 experience points. Bobby, you got to up your game, buddy. Got to up your game. But that's the top fans right now, and we got a very active chat going on, and some of you guys got to be a little more active on hitting that like button, so go smash. Actually, as I say, you don't have to smash it. Aurora C in the chat waving hello. What is up? Thanks for being here. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're on X, I think you can hit the like button. Also, retweet. You can retweet the live stream, and that'll help out a lot. And then if you're on Kick, you know, leave us a chat. Hit follow if you're not following us already. That would be a lot of fun. And leave us a comment because the comment section is always really quiet on Kick. But definitely hit that like button on YouTube as well. And the more you chat, the more you can get. If you give super chats, that gives you experience points too. You can get to the top of the chat. Maybe you'll even get some algo. So Bobby, you're saying algo fans need to get active, but you're more active, but you're actually behind on the chat. You only got 50 experience points. Maybe you got to leave a super chat to boost yourself up there a little bit, buddy. All right, I think I'm going to start my next Chainlink segment, so we'll do that as soon as I get some water here. Every time I say it's going to be a short stream, I end up going the same length. All right. Like I said, just a reminder for anyone's new, I don't respond to the chat while I do one of my segments unless it's actually relevant to what we're talking about and I can work it in. Otherwise, I will address them when I'm done with the segment. So you just got to stay patient. If someone gets impatient in the chat, you OGs can just kind of like let them know how it works. And so a lot of you guys know one of my favorite coins in the crypto space is Chainlink. I really love some of the stuff they're doing. I love how it's like this interoperability layer. They call themselves the backbone of blockchain. I think that's a pretty smart way to present themselves. Anyway, they just launched something called a Chainlink Reserve. So it's a strategic link token reserve. You might be wondering, well, what on earth is that? Well, we're going to dive into that today and look at what the Chainlink Reserve is. And this is directly from Chainlink. They're explaining it. Everything you need to know about the Chainlink Reserve. They have this nice infographic. We're going to read the tweet thread. And that says, we're excited to announce the launch of Chainlink Reserve, a new upgrade centered on the creation of strategic on-chain reserve of Link tokens. By the way, internet seemed to be liking this, as markets seem to be liking this, as Link is now up to almost $20. It's raised quite a bit. One of the better gainers so far this week. Anyway, Chainlink Reserve is designed to support the long-term growth and sustainability of the Chainlink network by accumulating Link tokens using off-chain revenue from large enterprises that are adopting the Chainlink standard and from on-chain service usage. So I'm really curious what they're going to do with this. I'm sure they're going to tell us. Chainlink Reserve is being built by using payment abstraction to convert off-chain and on-chain revenue into Link, using a combination of Chainlink services and decentralized exchange infrastructure. You know, this is one of the things I think is missing on some chains like Algorand, is like this revenue source that they can come in, first off, to support, you know, the chain's development, but then also to create a reserve. I think that's a really great idea. Demand for Chainlink has already created hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, substantially from large enterprises that have paid off-chain for access to the Chainlink platform. The increasing demand from a number of the world's largest banking and capital market institutions, this form of paying for Chainlink standard is expected to grow into the future as the industry grows. The reserve has already accumulated over $1 million worth of Link from this early stage launch phase, which is expected to gradually grow in the coming months as more revenue is converted to Link and placed into the reserve. I still don't know what they're doing with it. We're not expecting withdrawals from the reserve for multiple years and thus is expected to grow. We believe that the industry demand for Chainlink's unique capabilities increases and the adoption of Chainlink services will enable the reserve to grow further. But what are you doing with it? To make the Chainlink Reserve upgrade even more effective, payments abstraction has now officially expanded to support off-chain payments for Chainlink and other multiple on-chain service. Payment extraction enables revenue from both on-chain service usage as well as significant off-chain revenue from existing and ongoing enterprise operations. Now, that sounds really similar to the fiat idea, which is from Silvio Macaulay, who is the creator of Algorand. He's talking about, you know, like an abstract blockchain layer. This is like payment abstraction. It seems they're in the same category or bucket of ideas. Very interesting. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find out what... Okay, so the blog will say how the reserve complements existing Chainlink economic initiatives. I'm just trying to find out why. What's the point of the reserve? And for Chainlink, yeah, we talked about that. Platform, payment abstraction. So they don't really say, though, they're missing the why. Like, why do this? Like, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just don't know, like, what their user fee growth. And they're talking a lot about the benefits of Chainlink, which is great. Okay, the launch of the Chainlink Reserve marks a pivotal evolution in Chainlink's economic understanding by expanding the payment abstraction to cover more categories of revenue. Link funded by off-chain. Yeah, we read that already. Reserve is intended to support the growth of Chainlink network in future years in line with some of the key goals. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. Also, we do have... Yeah, it definitely brings some stability. It definitely makes sure they have funding for the future, which I think is really smart. By the way, I do have something. Oops, we got to go back a little ways.
People don't understand is now.
And this is the founder of Chainlink. We're going to put our headphones on, talking about the strategic reserve with Altcoin Daily. Let's take a listen.
I think what people don't understand is now that the system that Chainlink has become is actually a system that is going to set the standard for how society and how financial markets do transactions.
Today I sit down with crypto veteran and Chainlink co-founder Sergey Nazarov.
In this car analogy, I think we're going from like the horse and buggy to the car,
as he shares his outlook for cryptocurrency into 2026.
If the real world asset space in general is at like the 300-400 billion mark, I think it can easily go to 3-4-5 trillion.
We talk how high the Bitcoin price could grow.
I mean, at that point, you're way past $1 million per Bitcoin. You're way past that. You're probably at like...
What's next for Chainlink?
It's on track for this year in very positive ways.
And with this breaking news, the introduction of a Chainlink strategic reserve, Sergey, I have to ask, what is the Chainlink strategic?
I think what people don't understand is now that the system that...
Let's I think he tends to chapter his videos, so let's see if we can find just the, because I don't want to watch the whole thing on stream, but if we can find that part, let's find that part. Yeah, because this is like a 40-minute video. Oh no, it's not segmented, is it? That's going really slow. I might have to refresh here. All right, let's watch this part because he talks about the reserve.
How off-chain revenue relates to the Chainlink system. So there have been questions in the past about, hey, there's all this adoption of Chainlink in the on-chain world by DeFi and on various blockchains, but there's also all this adoption that you see in the capital markets by various chains, by various enterprises in various parts of the global financial system in different stages of adoption, from POC to pilot to some folks already being in production. And there's been a question of, okay, well, how does all of that enterprise activity of different types and different stages then relate back to the system? And this is, a question that many different protocols and systems have that have a lot of off-chain adoption, or a lot of adoption in places outside of the on-chain transactions. And so what the Chainlink Strategic Reserve does is it uses the payment abstraction layer, so the Chainlink system that converts revenue into Link. And now with this new launch, we're basically showing that you're able to convert on-chain revenue as well as off-chain revenue. So the on-chain revenue that's being paid into various Chainlink services was already in some cases getting converted and getting put through the payment abstraction layer in small amounts as it was getting tested. But now we're going to kind of at the next stage where you have the off-chain revenue, which is the enterprise implementation, maintenance, support, and adoption revenue, also in the process of now gradually and partially getting converted into Link through the payment abstraction layer. And what the Chainlink strategic reserve is where a significant portion of that Link that is converted will then sit. So it'll sit in the strategic reserve. We don't expect it to be used or moved or needed for a number of years. We do expect it at some point to be used for the growth and the success of the Chainlink network. But really, it's a reserve that we expect to grow in the coming months. And we see a lot of adoption of Chainlink now in both the on-chain revenue side of the equation, but increasingly and even more in this off-chain revenue world, where you have various enterprises needing implementation of Chainlink, needing maintenance, needing support, needing additional Chainlink implementation and the ability to use Chainlink in their systems, because Chainlink is just so many things now. It does compliance, it does data, it does cross-chain, it does identity, it does all these things. And a lot of that basically gets adopted via these off-chain implementations, right? So they're not necessarily paid for on-chain. And this has been a question. And so now we're resolving that question, which we think is a good thing because it provides clarity to people about how the Chainlink system works in both an on-chain revenue and an on-chain transaction and usage sense, as well as an off-chain revenue and off-chain transaction usage sense. So it's hopefully creating clarity for the Chainlink community and the crypto community and everybody in general.
So do I have this right, that the more Chainlink is mass adopted and the more it's used, a small amount of the fees will go into taking Link off the open market and putting it in this reserve? Is that fair?
Right now, the way the process is working is that there's been hundreds of millions in revenue created, and that is substantially in the off-chain portion. And what we're starting to do is we're starting to take that off-chain revenue and convert it into Link and put it into this reserve. Now, I can't predict exactly what's going to happen in the future. I don't control everything that happens in the future. But generally speaking, what's happened now is that we've reached this kind of threshold where there's hundreds of millions in revenue created. And so this reserve seems like a logical positive thing to do.
By the way, just for context, when I spoke with John Allen Woods about Algorand and revenue, it was bringing in the fees from Algorand were bringing in like 2 million a year, which is not nearly enough to support their operations. So hundreds of millions, that's like more what you'd want to see. And I don't know, but they recently announced that they're doing the Intermezzo project, where they have this like wallet that operates without really knowing that it's a crypto wallet. And so World Chess is using this right now. I was going to talk about this later. So that might be, I assume, like they have to pay for that service, but maybe not. I don't know. To me, that's like also an abstraction layer. So Chainlink was kind of leading the way on this, I think. And we're just going to listen to a little bit more. I don't want to play the whole video. You can definitely watch the whole video. I'll link it in the chat. So
the thing that I do expect to happen is that the enterprise adoption of Chainlink, in my personal opinion, should continue. I'm seeing a lot of adoption by large enterprises of all kinds in all different stages of Chainlink adoption. And now after many years of seeing them in all these different stages, we're seeing a lot of them start to shift more and more towards hey, let's go to production. Let's actually, do something real. A lot of the global financial system, a lot of the blockchain community, a lot of the different enterprises that we work with are now seeking to go live into production. And my experience is that when people go live into production, that's when they need to start, paying for implementation, support, maintenance, all of these key things. And so instead of just remaining in a very opaque state where it wasn't clear to people, what that was, we're kind of starting to create, the early stages of this clarity. And we're making it very clear that the reserve is built up through both on-chain revenue as well as the off-chain revenue from this integration, implementation, maintenance, and support stream of revenue.
yeah, so I think that's going to be really big for Link holders, because you're kind of taking Link off the table without really burning it, but also building up a reserve for future sustainability. I think that's a great idea for them and probably for other chains as well. Yeah, that was the interview. Link got a bright future. I agree. What is the utility of Chainlink? Let's ask Google. Chainlink token primarily functions as a utility token within the Chainlink network used to pay for services and incentivize network participation, which is pretty similar to every other token that's in the utility realm. It acts as the currency for accessing data feeds and for other services provided by Chainlink's decentralized Oracle network. There we go. Anyway, I think you guys should definitely watch this video here. I'm going to link it. I'll probably watch it later too, the whole thing. Like I said, I don't want to watch the whole thing on stream. It's really long. I'm just putting it from the generic account so it goes to Kick and YouTube. Link connects all the blockchains, so they collect data. They do a lot in the background. So that's Chainlink. I think that's really cool. I'm very excited about the new reserve layer. I think that was definitely worth talking about. Okay. You know, one thing I just want to show you guys, I don't know if I want to do a whole segment on this. Oh, I do have the tab up, don't I? I just kind of wanted to show this because I don't necessarily. This is the tower, and this is from so this is World Chess, this is the FIDE, this is the new Algorand partnership. You can't necessarily see it. You can't necessarily see it, but this is if you want to this is the new partnership, the intermezzo layer. So you're basically, if you sign up for this, which is the worldchess.com platform, and you create an account, you're basically creating an Algorand wallet. And that allows you to, I think it shows you somewhere. You can see I haven't actually played a game on here yet. But you can set up, let me move this down so you can see this, yeah. You can get ratings, you can play different types of games. Non-rated, rated, FOA rated. So World Chess is the FIDE system is the one platform where if you want to be like a professional chess player, if you're trying to get like professional rating, this is how you do it. They're also working on the Universal Chess ID. All this is with Algorand in the background as the partner. So I think this is really neat. What this will mean for people, like I said, I don't know if this is like a paid service that Algorand provides, or if they're just hoping for more transactions on the chain and that's their payment. But it sounds like Chainlink, they actually sell these services. And I think probably Algorand ought to do the same. It shouldn't just be, they should make more on that than just that. Yeah, so you can play Blitz, you can play Bullet, you can play Rapid, Classic, Daily. I kind of like Rapid, actually. Rated, non-rated. You got to get a pro account to set up your FIDE ID and play a FIDE rated game. So the pro account, it's like $40 a year, I think. Yeah, oh, sorry, 50 a year. But actually by playing these games, I think you can actually, here's the exchange. Yeah, you can get, I think you can get a pro membership by doing that. So I think if you played enough, you can actually earn your pro membership, which is kind of cool. So this is like another abstraction idea, right? So I think what a lot of people are focusing on now, and they realized what I realized like a couple of years ago. Maybe they always realized it. Like people, enthusiasts like you and me, are going to use crypto related stuff. The general public has a fear of crypto, and it kind of just has to operate in the background. So that's what stuff like this represents, which I think is really cool. Giovanni asking if there's a use case for the general public. I think Link is, my sense is that they're more focused on enterprise, which is probably like a lot of the correct, but they must, I wonder, because I know like a lot of people have said you really have to have users, you really have to focus on retail. even if you're an enterprise chain. So I don't know. We can look that up too. For what I'm seeing, not really. I think probably it's going to be abstracted. You know what I mean? Oh, that probably didn't help very much. They're talking about, I asked retail, I meant like retail investors or like the average person, but most of the stuff, it's like operating, you know, again, they talk about the abstract layer abstraction. You're talking about, you might be using it, but don't realize you're using it. Does that make sense? Yes, Green Blue says Swift does a lot in the background too without having their own token. Back in the day, utility link was just governance. There was no reason holding the token. Genius idea for changing that. Yeah. Well, yeah, so I really want to play a game. I really want to play a game on here to start testing it out. I did a video for the Algorand Foundation. Hopefully it will get released next week. But yeah, I think this is really cool. I think this is fun. So, well, I think that's about, like I said, I did think it would be kind of a shorter live stream than normal, but I appreciate everyone being here. Hope you got something out of that. And, yeah, you know, markets are going crazy. Let me just see if anything has changed that's worth reporting on before I go. Not really, kind of holding where it was before. I don't see any major changes. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you do well out there. I'm Frugal BC, and I will see you in the future. But don't forget, tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will be live streaming. The Fractal Monsters TCG, so be sure to check that out. Otherwise, I'm Frugal BC.